So, hello everyone, and welcome to our CareForHealth podcast. Today we have Ms. Duria with us, who is a CareForHealth psychologist. So, thank you for joining us today, Ms. Duria.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Today we're discussing work-life balance, and Ms. Duria has a very good work-life balance. So we know that in Pakistan it's quite hard to maintain this, as average Pakistanis work about 48 hours a week, and that there's quite a strong expectation to demonstrate a high level of commitment to your job. So Ms. Duria, how do you manage to these expectations and manage to have a good work-life balance?
So the first important thing is that you need to draw boundaries. It depends on the nature of the work that you're doing, of course. But I'll just take my example that if I teach and if I'm taking sessions, there is, yes, I'm working throughout the day, but there will be a boundary that after a certain time I will shut my phone off, I will disconnect from the work so that I can rest and get ready for the next day, because there needs to be boundaries. You need to let know people where you're when you're available, when you're not, and you need to adhere to those boundaries until unless there is a very dire emergency. Other than that, adhere to it.
How do you go about setting these boundaries with work and establishing your work life and your personal life?
Okay, so for the clients, as because I'm like a psychologist, ठीक है, तो for clients, they know that if there is an emergency, that yes, they can reach out to me. But if it's like in odd hours, like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, most probably I won't be able to reply because I'm disconnected from my phone. It's put aside at my home because I need to give my family time. I need to do things for myself as well. So they know if there is an emergency, they have like a build. We build a setup for emergencies as well. We follow a protocol. We give them helplines. Then they leave the message. I reply to them when my work hours start. Similarly, for my teaching students and the faculty or the administration that I have to deal with, they know that I'll respond to their messages or their calls or whatever their meetings while I'm in my working hours. After that, I'll just connect to them on the next day.
So obviously, working with as a psychologist, you have
Yeah,
kind of a personal connection with a lot of your clients.
yeah.
How do you avoid feeling guilty when you're establishing these boundaries?
Okay, so it does start really early on in our training. We used to feel guilty. Everyone goes through that experience, but the thing that we need to focus on is that we can't, as because we need to consider ourselves as human beings as well. We can't be available or emotionally available to a person 24/7. It'll drain us. It'll lead us to a burnout that is not going to help our clients in the long term. So for in looking at it from a perspective of long term, seeing the clients long term, treating them, we need to take care of ourselves. So if I'm prioritizing my time, I know that I need to do this in order to deliver the next day for my client. And they know this as well. We communicate it to them. It's a very two-way communication. We can't be very, apathetic towards them because we know they're going through a difficult time. But we need to set up this boundary that they need to consider us, yes, as human beings as well, who can't be available for them 24/7.
Yeah, it's sort of a fill your own cup before you manage someone else's.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you set your phone aside and
Yeah.
don't interact with that when you're with your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought about how technology has influenced the ability to manage your work-life balance.
It has both pros and cons actually. If I look at old times, my parents, if they didn't have an access to a phone, if they're coming from their job, there is no way for their bosses or their colleagues to contact them after working hours. That automatically set a boundary for them. For us, because phone is so accessible, we get WhatsApp messages, late night messages, odd hours messages about a meeting maybe being scheduled the next day or any task that we have to do. So it does breach that boundary. But again, it comes to a person, an individual. If they want to give priority to that, that is their choice. But if we're talking about work-life balance, even if there are calls to meetings and things like that, you need to be firm that you respond to those, to any message that is coming from administration in your working hours.
Yeah, so it's mainly about making sure those boundaries are
Yeah.
respected.
Yeah.
See. So in cases where people have to work quite long hours out of necessity, and they can't afford to be completely disconnected, what would you recommend that they could do to maintain their mental health and look after themselves?
Okay. So for people like this, because of their nature of their work, yes, it's not feasible for them to disconnect the way I do. Okay, I understand that. So in order, we need to enhance the resilience in coping in those terms. They need to make sure that even though they're connected to their work 24/7, work is a part of life and it should be treated as a part. There are other parts that need to be catered to as well. And then it comes to the person, how they cope with it, how they're dealing with their stressors as well. If yes, it's a high demanding job, you need to pay attention to a lot of things. They need an hour to a day or a weekend to focus on themselves, go out, be with your friends, be with your family. Even if you're connected on weekends, if I know that my students work at odd hours because they're connected to companies abroad. I know that the situation is that kind of. So for them, I do suggest that whenever you get time through the day, connect with yourself, connect with nature, connect with your friends. Just step out of that zone. Take breaks. That's fine. Keep taking breaks so that you get through the day. So and it doesn't drain you.
So taking breaks.
Yeah, taking breaks, coping well, having a good friend circle helps a lot. If you're connected to them, if you need to vent, if there is something going on with work or emotionally or anything personal, reach out to your friends or family if you can, so that it doesn't affect your work.
I see, I see. And what do you think are some of the benefits then of being able to maintain this good work-life balance, not just for the individual, but also for businesses themselves?
Achha. So for in the benefit of maintaining a work-life balance is you see an employee working in the long term. If they are continuously investing their energy in a particular task, it is going to lead to a burnout. And we know through researches that burnouts does affect employees' performance at work, and it in turn affects the productivity of the company or efficiency of a company. So, looking at this in that point of view, for an employee's mental health well-being, we need to have this work-life balance so that they can work in the long term without feeling drained or without feeling empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of the research
Yeah.
backs you up
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have some of the statistics that say that 85% of businesses that provide this work-life balance, they report being more productive. So you can see that there's benefit of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of burnout, which you mentioned, how do you recognize the signs of burnout, and how do you kind of adjust and make sure that you recover from that?
Okay, so I'll again share a personal experience. When I first entered this field, I did face burnout, especially when I was doing my master's. I was seeing clients as well and studying as well. There was no time to look after myself, which was the mistake that I should have identified in the first place, that I'm not looking after myself. The signs that I started noticing in myself was the things that I used to enjoy, I stopped enjoying them. I used to enjoy taking clients, giving them sessions. I used to enjoy, preparing for the session, going to universities, taking classes, reading up on things. I stopped enjoying those things. Everything felt like a burden. I was very irritated, very sad. So these kind of negative emotions do come up. You feel very lethargic and tired. You don't want to achieve a goal during your day. So there might be constant headaches, or for some people, when they are going through a burnout, fever comes up a lot, joint pains comes up. So these kind of somatic symptoms also, or physical symptoms also translate. Oh, there is something going on in your body that is not okay, and you need to take rest or you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you're kind of forced to take a break and
Yeah.
So when you said when you first started out, it was quite hard to balance
Yeah.
these kind of things,
Yeah.
and I think for a lot of young people who are
Yeah,
moving
of course,
on from
of course,
graduation.
of course.
Yeah, what advice would you give to them to help them with this new transition from, because studying is quite different to
Yeah.
being in office
Yeah.
or from working every day?
So see, everyone will learn through experience. Okay? They will make mistakes, but they will learn through their experience, just like I did. I know that things are demanding, circumstances are demanding. Maybe you can't leave work for some reason. There are deadlines that you need to meet, something like that. But in between that, take care of yourself. Do something for yourself, even if it's just for an hour or two. Go on a walk, watch some TV, do meditation, do exercise. Exercise actually helps a lot to prevent burnout, because it regulates your mood, it dissipates the excess energy or the anxiety or the agitation that builds up when you're in the office constantly. If you're dealing with people constantly, it does help.